welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go a story titled, Wife, a 32-year-old female, had SCX with her supervisor, but now regrets it and wants to get back together with me. And a big shout out to Daryl for sending me this story. This story is about a guy. He's married to his wife for 4 years. They have a little kid together, I think a boy. He is 29, she's 32. And everything went to hell in a handbasket with their marriage after he, a year and a half, got some kind of chronic disease where he was bed-stricken for a month. So she had to take care of him, and I'm sure that was not easy for anyone. Then he went through bad depression and all that. And that's when things started going really downhill, where she was treating him like crap, being distant. And this guy really tried to work things out and all that. She's just not interested. And let me tell you, you'll see real quick, this guy's your typical pushover nice guy that you want to slap the bejesus out of, which I do plenty of times to knock some sense into him. And ultimately, you're going to find out that she's up to no good behind the scenes. And then it's this never-ending roller coaster, her trying to get him to take her back, give it a second chance, and all that. And as I said countless times, once a cheater, always a cheater. Don't waste your time. And also, guys, if you mess up and get involved with or marry the wrong woman early on, guess what? You can end it and start over. This guy's 29 years old. He hasn't even gotten to his real prime yet of his 30s. He has a lot of time to learn from his mistakes and move on. And you can't stay in a marriage with someone like this, and you're going to see how bad she is for the sake of the kid. You know, because that kid's going to grow up in a house where mom and dad just can't stand each other, and that kid will very likely end up in a relationship like that one day. And you're going to see it is ugly. And I might add, while I'm going on here, how women are repelled. And I repeat, repelled by men that act weak. And you're going to see repeatedly this man acts weak. Acts weak in terms of like how he handles her in the situation. And unfortunately, when he was bed-stricken, although not his fault, she saw that as weakness, even though he was bed-stricken because of chronic illness. Even though if it was the opposite, he would have thought the less of her. So it's crazy. So anyhow, guys, lots of lessons in the story, and you're going to see how this whole thing turns out. It doesn't turn out well for her. So it starts off saying, me, a 29-year-old male, and my wife, a 32-year-old female, have been together for 6 years, married for 4. We have a 3-year-old daughter together as well. Mostly good times with rough patches here and there, but overall good. No abusive behavior, no cheating, none of that. The last year and a half, though, we had a long bout of a rough patch. It seems a lot of ups and downs and rough patch in only 4 years of marriage here. I get they have a kid, and that definitely brings stress and anxiety, but still. I developed a chronic illness that rendered me almost bedridden for the first month of it, and I then suffered from mild depression, and as a consequence, I wasn't mean to my wife during my depression or illness. If anything, I think I was extra caring and loving to her because I knew that what happened to me was affecting her as it would any couple. So he was bed-stricken because of what he got, and therefore she had to take care of him all the time. And he looked, even though this wasn't his fault, he was being in a place of weakness. It wasn't his fault, but that's just obviously what happened because of what happened to him, the chronic illness. And I guarantee you that obviously turned her off. And because of that, it just was just a downward spiral. Guarantee it. It's absurd. The last 2 months, however, I managed to finally and successfully, after various attempts with antidepressants and medication, pulled myself out of depression with the help of a few different lifestyle changes, as in working out, stopping isolation, and therapy. And I've been doing it better ever since. Awesome, bro. I tell guys all the time, you gotta get exercise. Either, yes, to obviously keep yourself healthy, keep your body looking good in shape, but also makes you feel better. I don't care if it's hitting the gym or doing martial arts or boxing training or just going for a jog or a walk or riding your bike or going on a pogo stick. I don't care what. Just get your body moving. You'll feel better. And getting out, no isolation. And my chronic illness, as a result hardly bothers me anymore. My wife, as a result, was happier and relieved. I managed to pick myself up successfully. Things are great for about a month. Yeah, for a month. I noticed after that month where things were looking up. My wife started acting a little more cold towards me, which I thought was odd because I started feeling much better. I thought she would have just felt relieved. I understand it's hard to just pick up and we can't prevent nothing with my illness. Happened last year and a half. But we're married. So I was assuming that she would get through it with me and we'd come out stronger. Yeah, well, the situation was reversed and she was bed-stricken. I guarantee this guy would have been doing everything to help her and would not look down upon her and do what I know she's going to do here. But then again, when women see men in a state of weakness, whether it is their fault or not, it turns them up. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But that wasn't the case. She was starting fights quicker, staying up late without me, not asking how my day was going, lack of interest in me generally, more and more as the days progressed. You pay attention to a woman's actions always. Does she seem like a woman that's in love with her husband? And mind you, they haven't been together that long. I picked up on this relatively quickly and addressed it with her. She started crying, saying that the last year and a half was really rough on her because of my chronic illness and depression, and that she missed her family. They live far away. Okay, that's all right. Sure, if this was going on for a year and a half and the first month you were bed-stricken, that's all right. It's allowed to be tough on her. Fair enough. I can understand that. And okay, she misses her family. That's fine too. But that doesn't mean that you go and do what you know what she's doing and treat this guy like garbage. Believe me, he didn't want to be bed-stricken and all that stuff like that. Maybe he could have done more to fight the depression, but fair enough. But come on. She said she thought about leaving me in some moments, but she didn't want to because she was thinking of her son. Oh, well, that's nice to hear, but how about me? When I heard this, my heart sank. All I wanted to do was give her everything and make her feel like she was loved. Smack! As if you haven't figured out, this is a nice guy here. The whole I want to give my wife everything. Yeah, what happens when guys do that? So we talked and cried for hours about we should continue the relationship. We came to the conclusion that she wanted to try and work things out. Things were okay for the next 2 weeks, but again, she started falling further away from me. I attempted everything I could to bring us together, but it felt like it just wasn't working. You're trying too hard when she isn't giving you any good reason to make the effort. I tried watching movies with her, being affectionate, initiating sex, cooking her favorite foods. In other words, kissing her ass. That's only going to turn her off more. But it did not work. We were just fighting over small things. No. We, as in you two, weren't fighting. She was fighting. She was picking fights and being bitchy and difficult and all that on purpose. She's trying to have more of a wedge so she could do what she really wants to do. She'd be on her phone all day when we had days off together. She didn't want to go out of the house with me. It hurt so bad because I felt responsible for it all. If I hadn't gotten that chronic illness and developed depression, our relationship would have been fine right in that moment. No, your relationship wasn't that fine, because if your relationship was fine, in spite of the chronic illness and the depression, she would have truly and lovingly been on your side, but she was not. She's not a wife material here. And I'm willing to bet you, prior to their getting married, there were signs there, but he probably ignored them. I didn't know what to look for. And it hurt even more, too, because a few times during this period, she would choose to hang out with her friends instead of me. I'm so supportive of her seeing her friends, and that's never been an issue for me. But during this rough patch, I felt like she was prioritizing her friends over working on our relationship. We'd barely have days off together, just the weekends. So he hasn't mentioned anything about him laying down the law with her. I don't hear anything about that. Women don't respect weakness. And if you're just putting up with her bullshit, if she's acting like an a-hole, and then you're giving her flowers and cooking her favorite meals and try to initiate sex or hugs or anything, and she's being an a-hole, duh, it's going to turn her off. On the other hand, you call her crap, right? That's different. She may get bitchy initially, but she'll at least respect you for standing up for yourself. Women are repelled by guys acting like manginas here. And again, it's not his fault. He got a chronic illness, I'm sure he could have done more with the depression aspect, And I get it was tough on anyone, but come on here. But no, she's the a-hole 100%. So then we sat down again and talked about our relationship. Yeah, I'm sure that was a lot of fun. She said she needed time to think about us and to see what she's going to do next. No. You're going to decide right now. Not 5 minutes from now, not next week, right now. I'll give you 3 seconds where we're going to go. Either you're in or you're out. Otherwise, we're done. I'm tired of this bullshit. That's what he should do. At least you'd respect him. I panicked in this moment. Smack. Because I don't understand how she could change her feelings for me so sudden within 1 month. Dude, it wasn't 1 month. This has been changing for a while now. Okay? A while. Maybe she's passive aggressive and she lets shit build up. Who knows, And I guarantee you, when you got married and said I do, you were way more into the relationship than she was. She probably knew you were marriage material from the get-go. So I told her in the heat of the moment, and emotions very high, and we were both crying, that I didn't want to hurt her anymore. So maybe it's best for us to move on because it clearly doesn't feel like it's working. Well, in spite of the tears, that's actually the right decision. I told her there's no need to think about anything, so we broke up. Or I broke up with her. Good. You're finally getting your balls back a little bit, my man. This is a terrible situation. You can't be with someone like this. You need someone that really has your back. She got angry and upset that I couldn't just give her time to think and talk to her friends and family. Yeah, her talking to her friends would have been a great idea. Trust me, her friends know everything that's going on with her. Which I later understood I should have done. Bullshit. No, you were finally somewhat acting like a man. But I told you she'd get angry at first. So we just stopped talking for a while. I came back to her after a few hours and had cooled off and said I didn't mean to break up. I just didn't know what was going on with us and what to do about it. I felt like she just wasn't trying. She was still angry and said I can't just do that to her, and that's what I mean. I know I shouldn't have broken up with her. Smack. No, that's what you should have done with her. You need to just give her a little scare. You're darn right. That was your first instinct, and your instinct was correct. Now you're going back on it. You're going back at what you wanted to do, and that's going to make her more uncertain about who you are and a man and all that, and it's going to make it even worse. That's what's going on here. Own it, dude. I should have just given her the space she needed to think about things and then come back when she decided what she wanted to do. Oh, so let her on her own sweet time keep you hanging. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. This is why you're in this mess to begin with, bro. So she told me she needed some time to think, so I gave that to her. Smack. Let's see how this works out. I told her, take as long as you need. Smack. More nice guy shit. I just wanted to fix things. It's not fixable, dude. Later that night, she told me she wanted to go out and hang out with her girlfriend. Really? I told her to do whatever she needed to do, so I stayed at home and put my son to sleep. It was around 11:30 p.m. when she left and came back around 2:30 in the morning. Oh, that's a lot of hanging out with a girlfriend until late. The next morning, both woke up and got to talking about after a quiet breakfast together. She told me she wanted to keep trying things with us. I was well, do or do not, there is no fucking try. Okay, Yoda didn't say the F word because Empire Strikes Back was PG, but that's what Yoda should have said to Luke. Do or do not, there is no try in this situation. Either you're going to make this thing work or not. I was so relieved when I heard this and apologized to her for everything. Smack. Why are you apologizing? She's the one that's been acting like the a-hole and picking fights and drama and all that. You're only reinforcing why she's treating you this way and doing what I know she's doing behind the scenes to begin with. Nice guy central. He has been conditioned to be this way thanks to the narrative and the society we're in. I loved her so much. I just wanted to make things work. How about she makes things work? How about she makes the effort, huh? She told me the same. Yeah, sure. So I went about our day together, but something felt off. Yeah? Like there was still an issue, or something that was unsaid. I felt like that all day. It was the worst feeling. It's like we were strangers in each other's house, walking on eggshells or something. Small talk was dull, and she just looked sad. The vibe in the house that day was just flat and bleak. So, you're going back on what you said, you apologizing for reacting in a way that was certainly warranted, you telling her take all the time you need and everything like that. What did that result in? Nothing being fixed, just more walking on eggshells, problems, blah, blah, blah. She's an a-hole, but this guy is not helping the situation. He is acting like a total BIT on multiple fronts here. He needs someone like me there to smack him upside the head. So later that night, I at least knew from the day that things were just spiraling down and the relationship was dying. So we looked at each other again and began to talk about our relationship again. This time we broke up for good. Okay, let's see how long this lasts, more than 2 hours. She said that things just weren't working. She hasn't been happy. Really, I never picked up on that. And that the last year and a half was just too much for her. I told her how sorry I was for everything and that I understood. Smack! Nice guys always understand. It was a mutual breakup, it felt. We talked for hours about how our futures are going to be. We cried, we hugged, we held hands, and comforted each other. It was a peaceful breakup, very sad but peaceful, not ugly. So I went to bed. I told her I could just sleep on the couch until we figure out the new living situations. Of course he's going to go on the couch. Have her go on the goddamn couch. She stayed in our bed with our son. After a few hours of trying to sleep in the living room, my cat kept tapping me and waking me up. Oh, I know what that's like, brother. Except I got two of them, and they pull that bullshit, but not anymore. They're downstairs now, and I'm upstairs, and I got a barricade. Yes, I know what that's like. I'm a cat person, if you guys are new. Everybody gives me shit about that, but I don't give a fuck. I love my cats. So I decided to go to the room where my wife was at and ask if we could sleep there because the cat was bothering me. She said it was totally fine. So I tried to sleep, but I couldn't. I'm sure she's sleeping just fine. She's dreaming about sausage. Next to the bed was my wife's phone. I remember that feeling I told you I was having. Yeah, well, getting to that. So I let my curiosity get the best of me. I grabbed her phone silently and went through it. I've literally never done anything like that once ever in my entire life. I am not a snooper. But my gut was right. It turns out she was talking with her supervisor for the last month. He says, remember, I said a month ago, it felt like she changed her attitude like a light switch. They were saying how much they liked each other. She thought he was amazing. There you go. I'm sure he's feeling like a dumbass now for apologizing for giving her a hard time and breaking up with her initially and all that. Right? This is why I said I guarantee, was just so repulsed by him apologizing and being all nice when she didn't deserve it, because she knew she didn't deserve it. They're saying how much they liked each other, blah, blah, blah. She thought he was amazing. She wished she could be with him instead of me. Whew, that had to hurt. So many hurtful things. My heart was literally beating out of my throat. Then I see a text from her from 2 nights ago, when she was supposed to be hanging out with her girlfriend, saying to him, can I see you now? So I found out that they hung out instead. Then I came across a text from her a little later, and she came back from hanging out with him and said, I can't believe that happened between us. Those things are hard to control, but I'm glad we did it. I immediately assumed they had SCX in this moment and woke her up. Good. Definitely wake her up. Now, your kid is there, so that could be a problem. And I guarantee they had SCX together. She freaked out and asked why I was going through her phone. Please tell me he doesn't apologize at this point. She kept saying, what did you read? Over and over again. I was just crying. Smack! Never let him see you cry, dude. I asked her if they had SCX, and she said, no, we just kissed. I didn't know what to believe. Really? You don't believe that at this point? Come on. 3 hours and they only kissed? My heart kept saying they had SCX, but I couldn't know for sure because she kept denying it, and the text was so vague, but had enough information to show that something S-word happened. I also asked if she was planning on telling me, and she said, probably, with almost no remorse. Of course there's no remorse. She doesn't give a shit. She has checked out a long time ago. She wasn't crying or anything, but you were. She just looked ashamed and almost annoyed that she got caught. That's what it is, because she got caught. And she's the same one yelling at you for, God forbid, how dare you go through her phone. I told her I wanted a divorce immediately and that she needed to move out and sleep on the couch until she finds a place. Hallelujah. He's finally grown a pair. This is when nice guys finally grow a pair, when all is gone. Over the next few days, all she's been doing is trying to talk to me about our relationship. Oh, now she wants to fix things. Imagine that. She can go off with her supervisor. Crying a lot, she's barely eating food, looking guilty. She's also been asking for help from me because she needs to find a new place to live and she can't find anything she can afford. Tough shit, sweetheart, not my problem anymore. I've been unbelievable to you. Sure, the chronic illness was tough, my depression, but you know what? I tried to make up for it, and this is how you thank me and make me feel like garbage. This is why she's staying with him, or wanted to stay with him, or wants to stay with him, because he can help pay the bills. I just told her, well, maybe you should have thought about that before you went and F that guy. Almost every time we talk, it's passive-aggressive on my part because of what she did to me. I'm sarcastic to her when she asks me simple questions. I'm saying snarky, rude remarks about her and the guy she effed when she talks about our relationship. It's been so ugly. She keeps saying that she doesn't want a divorce because she can't afford to pay for half of it. That's the reason she doesn't want a divorce. I don't love you or anything. You make me sick. But I don't want to divorce you because, I can't live the kind of lifestyle I want. And when I offered to pay for the full divorce, she kept insisting we don't divorce. She was literally plaguing my mind with what she did. It was all I was able to think about, and I still am. That's how it works. That's why these women who think that everything will be better, and the guy will move on. No, the guy's always going to replay that in his head. especially if he saw evidence of such a thing. Where is she saying, I'll leave my job? Where is she saying, I'll start over? Where is her list of things she's willing to do, concessions, to attempt to make it up to this guy? I don't hear any of them yet. 2 days ago, though, I decided to go through her phone again. Yes, I know we're broken up and it's snooping, but I just wanted to know if they had SEX because she keeps denying it when I tell her I'm pretty sure they had SEX. I just had that old feeling they did, but I wanted proof. So anyway, I went through her phone to see if they talked more and more about what they did that night. Of course, I found this text that was sent a few hours prior to me reading it, saying, "Isn't it crazy what happened last week? You're ready for a third time. Is that normal for you?" He said, "Is that a bad thing?" And she replied, "No, it was all amazing. It was dangerous, but I liked it. That was the bullet for me that offed me. I was naive enough to believe that maybe they just kissed. Maybe I wanted to believe that. But in that moment, I knew what really happened, and that collapsed me. They effed twice." Yeah, after obviously you caught her, they're doing it again. Meanwhile, she's moping around the house, crying and upset and acting like a drama queen. Dude, how much more evidence do you need? End it with her. Even if ultimately she gets the house and the majority of the custody of your kid together. You can't be with someone like this. This guy has to do a lot of work on himself, and I hope like hell he does, but he can't be with her. I told her I went through her phone again the same day, and she got upset saying, "We're not a couple anymore, and I can't be doing that." I agreed and said I just wanted to know for sure. Now I know. She started crying, of course. Of course. That's right out of the Hobag Handbook, Chapter 1. She said she didn't want me to know because it would only make me hate her more than I already did. I know I shouldn't have snooped again, and maybe I did just more damage to myself than good. But Jesus Christ, I don't know how to cope with this betrayal. Dude, I have no problem with you going through her phone the first time or the second time. I told her that she needed to move out ASAP because I can't stand to look at her. She agreed to it, even though she said she didn't want to. Go live with a girlfriend. Go live with your lover. But I'm willing to bet you her lover probably is married with kids, and if he isn't, he's just a Chad that wants to nail her, and once she's no longer married anymore, it won't be that thrill for him. She keeps asking for my help looking for an apartment to move into, and every time she does, I just laugh and tell her she's on her own. It's not that hard to research apartment listings and go have the landlord show you them and figure out your finances, lady. And that she needs to figure it out quickly because she doesn't deserve my help with anything. She effed someone else. The anger is so intense. And just today, when she was supposed to go look for an apartment, she went over to this guy's house, and I'm pretty sure she slept with him again. Probably multiple times. She probably did things to him that she wouldn't ever do with you. Even though she's telling me she feels bad about it, what she did. When she came home again, I asked about the apartment she saw, and she started blushing hardcore, and I knew she was lying. See, here's the deal, guys. Her perception of him, which is, well, let's be honest, pretty warranted, pretty accurate, is this he's just this weak, nice guy that if she cries enough and promises enough and does all that, eventually he'll cave. That's her perception, and, well, it's pretty accurate thus far. But I think he's reached the point that he's done no matter what she does or cries or stalls or anything. And she can't believe that. And now to make things even more complicated. Oh, good. Just last night she comes to me and tells me that she needs to talk. So I ask her, what about? And she says she wants to try and get back together with me and that she didn't want a divorce. All day yesterday I was just filing divorce papers and she was there watching and crying. Why the hell would I ever consider giving us a second chance? We've been down that road before. You all heard this 10, 15 minutes ago. Every time that she wanted to try to work things out, what happened, right? She says she wants to make things work for the sake of our family and our kid. Oh, throw the kid in it, make him feel guilty, huh? Nice manipulation tactic. And then she misses me. She says something she's been thinking about the last week since it all happened. He probably dumped her. I got angry and told her she can't just ask me to do something like that and expect me just to adhere to it. She was crying again that she regretted everything she did and she just wants to try again. And I am thinking about giving her a second chance because at this point it feels like she's just trying to be with me because she can't find an apartment and it's convenient for her to stay. But at the same time, I've been so snarky and angry with her, I don't know why she even wanted to stay in the same house as me. I'll tell you why, because she's convinced she can wear you down. That's why. And she doesn't want to be on her own, have to pay for her own bills and all that stuff like that, and maybe look like an ass in front of her family. But I'm also convinced that her lover is done with her. She told me she wanted to try, wait for it guys, couples therapy. And she would never talk to the guy again, and she would show me her phone if I needed to. She said she's willing to do anything and beg me to stay with her and give her another chance. Again, more bullshit from the Hobag Handbook. I asked her for the absolute truth in that moment as to if she actually looked at the apartment and said, don't lie, and she admitted that she went to the guy's house, but they didn't do anything. Oh, okay. Sure, I can believe that. She just wanted his help in finding a new apartment. She was there at his house for 2 hours. She's on her period. I can see her pads in the trash, but I'm sure they did something anyway. She can still operate her mouth. She said nothing happened though, and they just talked. I'm in such pain right now. I understood our relationship was tough the last year and a half, but I don't think I deserve this from her. No freaking way, man. Not at all. It's not your fault you got the chronic illness, whatever that may be, that caused you to be bed-stricken for a month. And sure, that's hard on anybody. Okay, I get that. That was probably difficult on her because the feeding and the cleaning and helping with the bathroom, all that, sure. I think he was depressed, understandably, And maybe he could look back and there were things this guy could have done to help with the depression and all that. But the point is, that's marriage. Old school marriage. The people that care about you truly are going to be there with you. If she was bed-stricken, I guarantee you this guy would have done anything to help her and not think the less of her for it. Not with women. And after all the back and forth and the cheating and the lying and making him feel like crap and all that, no, it's over, okay? You haven't been married that long, and hopefully you won't be hammered too hard in the divorce process. But he can't be with her. End of freaking story. I just hope that after so much crying and begging and pleading and meltdowns and everything you can throw out there, he doesn't eventually cave. Because if he does, I guarantee you, she'll be back to her same old tricks soon enough. The reality is, she doesn't love him. She's not in love with him and doesn't even love him as a friend. She doesn't respect him. In fact, she may actually have more respect for him now than ever that he's laying down the law and firmly saying no. She's not used to hearing no from him. The most attractive word to a woman is no, by the way, because nice guys never do it. But it's over. End of story. You got the divorce papers, continue on and move forward. Because you don't want your kid, your son, raising him in a household where mom and dad, there's no love there. She's only staying with you because it's more convenient and easy for her. It's not because she loves you. And now she's trying to manipulate you, throwing the kid in the mix to make you feel bad. It's the right move, end of story. That kid can't grow up in a household with you like this. It's only going to screw him up. And the next thing will probably happen. I'm waiting for it. Honestly, if he's not careful, if she manipulates him so much to make him melt, she has sex with him, she gets pregnant, or gets pregnant somehow, hint, hint, to get him to stay. That's the next thing I'm waiting for in her bag of trips here. I hope it doesn't happen. So guys, lots of things to learn from the story. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If they pull this type of crap, move on. And even if she didn't cheat on him, the way she's been treating him and all that, it's just he has to really evaluate his situation in his life. He's young. He's got his whole life ahead of him, okay? He messed up marrying her. Fine, so be it. He can learn to move on. But that's up to him. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comment section. I really want to hear your opinion on this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.